So I'm gonna get into a back test. I usually do these on Sunday, but today or this weekend I've got a few things coming up. One of those is Mother's Day. So, we're gonna do this tonight. Friday night. Spin that wheel. May 2nd through May 6th. Let's see what we got here. Okay, today. Now let's choose a random pair. And after this, we're just going to get set up and get started with scalping. AUD. Okay. Let me turn off that. Let's go over here to the AUD. And okay, no drawings. Cool. Now, I was looking above the price. I didn't see anything incriminating, I don't think. So what I'm going to do, to do an even further memory wipe, let's go to the previous day before May 6th. And let's close this watch list in case I hit the space bar on accident. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the 4 hour and we're going to see what order flow is looking like and where our areas of demand are, so that we can then make some conscious good trading decisions. So, first area of demand I see, and I lost my tools kinda. There's that. Okay, we'll just keep them there. First area of demand I see is here. It is the last down move before this up move. So that is kind of what I like to measure out. And then we'll just put this one here. Why not? It's there. I mean, I'll delete this one if we break past it. But this is the 4 hour, so we might not even get down there. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of stuff going on. So what I'm gonna do now is realize that we are in this bearish trend. We barely broke above this, but we did break above it. So what I'm going to expect is possibly something that, like, I want to see what happens down in here, but for now I'm bearish until we get back down there, because right now we're playing in this bullish range. But when we get to these two areas, those are kind of my areas of interest where price can do whatever it wants. And so now we're just going to go to the 22 candle. Let's make our back test helper for the 6th. And let me just make sure those settings are correct. Cool. And we're going to go over here. Okay, so we're not on the 22 candle yet. May 5th to the 18, and here's the 22, and we can delete this zone. We are very bearish still. We just broke below these lows. We made some wicks. I expect this to get cleared out. Could be wrong, who knows? But since we're here, what I want to do, because we're kind of in this zone, is I'm going to mark out this 4 hour missing price here. And one thing I could have done was go to the daily to see if there's any wicks that need to be cleared out. But what I'm going to do, actually, just in case we get down that low, let's mark that out. Because what I like to do is I like to spot like liquidity points. So like I would assume that if we run this low, we get down to this low somewhere. So we could even put like these lines here. And these are not like support and resistance. It's really just to say like, okay, missing price fills in here, and then we run the liquidity here. So what I want to actually do, and I know I'm taking a lot longer than normal to set this up, but that's kind of what's going on today. I'll just do missing price 3 hour, even though it's a 4 hour. And then, okay. So now that we're at 22, what we want to do is now go to the 415 today. This is going to be insane. I made some mistakes with my trading today, like actually quite a few, because of non-farm. I don't know what it is about non-farm, but I always get super silly with my trading during non-farm. But right now we so we pushed down into this area, broke these two lows, and then made this low. So right now our range is from here to here, and I do expect this high to get run just because of the way that it's like this wiki thing here. What I want to do is actually mark this out as a 15-minute area of interest. So we'll just make it pink or something. And then we'll do this one too. But I think that since this wick was already here and this kind of filled in that missing price, I do expect some kind of bounce, and like this could just make me look like a fool right now, but that's just what I'm looking at here. So this low was slightly higher than this low, so we'll just keep going. If we really wanted to take a sell here, if we took a look at the 5-minute, I mean, we could probably fib this, and that'd be, to me, that'd be pretty risky. I wouldn't want to, especially if I expect like this high to be run, I would not want to sell here. But this is pretty much the point where I'd sell. Like if I did a fib, this would be one of my entry strategies because we have a bearish engulfing there. But I think I would only do that if like this whole bullish action didn't happen, or if this area broke this low. So let's see what happens. I'm going to keep going. Okay, consolidation. Now this is interesting. We broke this high with a wick. I'm not going to enter here. Yeah, so I was thinking because we only broke this high with like just barely a wick, and then we made this huge engulfing candle. This is kind of what I would consider like a double top. And I probably would have wanted to enter with my trade looking like this. So this is kind of why I took a little pause, but I didn't want to enter because I just wasn't sure. Because of my bias for this overall move here, I wasn't sure what would happen next, especially because we didn't clear out this low here. So I wanted to wait at the risk of not catching any trade. Let's see. Okay, well that's crazy. I'll get to the next 15-minute candle and see what's going on. So we just made this bullish area of demand right here. Let's find this right here. And we are actually kind of playing around with another level of supply. This whole thing is demand, but I marked off missing price. Sorry. Oh, I see what happened. Jeez, I'm not firing on all cylinders today. So we'll just mark this off. I'm gonna count this as run, or not run, but like tapped, and then we'll see what happens here. I do kind of like this pattern, but I want to see what happens here at the missing price fill. Okay, normally I wouldn't enter on this, but I do like that on the 15-minute, this is a bullish engulfing candle, and we just tapped into the missing price and then made this like engulfing pattern. Let's see if we can get a pullback before entering. Okay, it's a huge engulfing candle. It's this is actually turning out to be a lot choppier than I thought it would be on Aussie US. Forgotten on farm. We do have the news coming up. I think normally I would kind of abstain here, especially at this pattern. It's very choppy. Do I really want to take advantage of the fact that, like, yeah, I thought about the fact that it was like stupid bullish for a while. Okay, so I would not trade this. This is like insane. Okay, now here's something though. I have no idea when this dropped. Okay, but I have an idea that we're at this Asian previous high here, and we just made a swing point pattern. we have an engulfing candle to make our area of supply. Okay. And now over here, we have our other area of supply, but this is a higher time frame area of supply, I think. And we just ran it. And whenever we run a higher time frame area of supply, let me just make sure we did, we have to get a reaction. And so with those types of confluences, I just want to, like, I would want to take advantage. So I think we can get a 1 to 3. Let's see, 10 pips on Aussie US though. It's kind of risky. I will do 8 pips at the most. I will just put it right above here. And if we get taken out, I mean, this is kind of a nutty trade. I don't know if I would do this normally. I think I would, but just, I would probably want to do it like once I saw this wick form, I'd probably want to enter like aggressively. Like, you know, I wouldn't wait for this candle to close like this. So we're in the trade, and okay, cool. Well, that was a lot less stressful than I thought it would be. Thank you, liquidity grab, +3. Okay, so let's see now. Oop, let me delete these drawings here. So just to recap, basically, whenever we run a higher time frame area of liquidity, you can guarantee that once you start seeing these wicks, then you can get your 1 to 3 like 60% of the time. So let's look at what that area of liquidity looks like, just so that we can all observe. It's on the 15-minute. Boom, that's this wick here. We just stabbed right through it with no cares in the world. So for me, because I'm scalping, a higher time frame area of liquidity would be 15 minutes or above. At least those are the ones that usually cause significance. Okay, so now we're in an interesting spot. We just broke this low, I think, or almost. Okay, we just broke this low, so we do expect more lows to be put in. So we expect like this low to get run now, but we need to see a pullback. And where do we expect the pullback to? Let's remove these. Well, we expect the pullback to this area, possibly, of supply. Do we get it? I have no idea, because this is insane. This is an insane move. I don't think we're going to get that. Let's see. So we're out here at the New York previous low. I don't want to enter on this. This momentum's very strong. Normally, like, we could be like, well, we saw the Asian previous high up here, it ran a liquidity point, blah, 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 blah. But if we look on the 15-minute now, look at this nonsense, right? We were on the, yeah, so look at this nonsense, right? We ran this point, but we came back down here, and now we're at this bottom area. If you saw this candle in any time frame, what would you do? Like, this is be looking for sells, right? Like, this is insane. It's huge. So I don't want to just buy off the jump right here. So let's see what happens. Maybe I should have. Okay, so candles keep pushing down. I don't know how I would have continued this move. It's insane. Okay, we're tapping into our 15-minute area of demand. What I'm kind of looking for in terms of continuation, possibly, let me see, we're 609, so I can go to the 5-minute. Possibly just a nice little push up. We can probably get an entry off of this for a sell. Or we could take a risky buy, thinking like, okay, we're in the 4-hour area of demand, we're tapping into it. You know, we're thinking like maybe we can go up back up to here from this, but it's just too little information to go on right now. It's enticing me, but it's not the one yet. None. Normally, I would say I'd like to enter there. Okay, so we just broke the high here. I want to see what happens now when we come back to this area of demand. And actually, I mean, a better area would be here. There's a lot of wicks under here. I almost think this gets run. If we get engulfing here, I actually might enter for a sell. Just because we're at the London previous low now. And you know, I don't think I want to sell actually, but it's making me want to sell. Like trying to catch a buy here would be kind of crazy too. Let's see. Let's keep going. See if we can get up to that zone. If we do break this here, this low here, I'll probably start looking at sells though, actually. This type of candle I would normally sell on, but not from where it's at. So this here I want to sell on. It's an engulfing candle. If you think about this, this is actually head and shoulders or a quasi. We have the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. We have this wick showing exhaustion, and this is all happening at our London previous low. And in my previous scalping videos, I didn't use these, but this is something I've been like kind of studying lately and trying to incorporate. So let's get a sell here. These candles are so large. My gosh. Okay. 9 pips. I don't know if I'm going to regret doing this like this, but there we go. Right down to that, I guess that low. I don't like selling into demand either, but let's see what happens. Okay, we're getting some resistance, or we're finding support, but we're getting some resistance on our trade idea. Okay, so we got near our 1 to 3, very near, but we've had this bullish engulfing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move my stop loss to break even, and we're gonna let the trade play out. Okay, didn't get taken out, but we did make a quasi. Everything is telling me to buy here, because what we did is we broke this level down into here, right? We came near our missing price, but we didn't actually like fill it in. However, we started breaking highs. So we broke 2 short-term highs here, and then we pulled back to the area of demand that started this move, and then we made another bullish engulfing. And so this makes me think that I could probably get in here for a buy. And so what I'm gonna do, in which I have never done in any of my videos ever, is flip bias. And as you can see, I've been practicing with some new theories lately. I'm gonna flip my bias because I see the signs here, and I'm thinking this will be good for a buy. So let's just take this 0.74. Yeah, 0.74, not 75. And we'll continue with this trade, but as a buy. So I'm going to do this here at the risk of looking like a fool for switching this. I don't like having these huge stop losses, but oh, I don't like that trade goes that far up. Let me see if I can get 1 to 3, like right in the middle. Like 50% is the most I want to go. I just don't like having my stop loss here. Like, I don't want my stop loss in here. See that? Okay, what I'm gonna do is, if it does run that far, I'm gonna see what happens when we get to the area of supply there. Okay, we're kind of popping up. Okay, now we're at our area of supply. Ooh, 3 candles. Let's see. I'm gonna break even the stop. Move our stop to break even again. Take this out because that's getting messy. Okay, looks like we're getting some good pushes for our trade idea, and a push back down. That is not what we like to see. Let's see if we get to break even or not. Okay, we're pushing back up. This is not quite an engulfing. I'll see what happens as we continue. What I'm looking for is just some kind of like, if we break past this missing price here, I'm no longer gonna like this trade. But since this didn't engulf, I think we can make it past this high. Okay, still not getting any engulfings, but we're stalling. Stalling is also bad for our trade. We want nice momentum, because what this is saying is that this new area of supply that we created, which was lower than this area of supply, like you can make a Venn diagram out of these, right? Right, it's not, this new area is just as strong as this one, so we haven't been able to break the high. 2 times we've come up here and we have not broken the high, and that's pretty scary. Well, let's see what happens. Okay, we did not break past our missing price. It's a very strong level though. Let's keep going, see what happens. Okay, this is good. And there we go. Oh my gosh, what a tumultuous 1 to 3. I don't even know, like, if I couldn't just click through time, I'd hate this right here. I'd have probably closed with like some weak hands over here, being like, oh my gosh, this is coming back, I hate this. Because I mean, but this didn't engulf, so like, because it didn't engulf, I didn't get out, and then we just kept going with it. So hey, that works. Okay, so what I want to do now that we've broken out of that, let's see if we can catch, let's see, because we're still in this like seller's range. I'm wondering if one of these supply zones will bring us home. Like, let me go back to the, like, so I don't see the future, we use our backtest helper. Let's go over here, and we're right in that zone. Let's go to the 5 minute actually. Okay, so I want to find a zone of supply in here that price may react to. And let's go back to my candle. So now this is filling in missing price, right? I think if we get an engulfing candle here or something similar, we can like take a sell here. Let's see what happens. Not an engulfing candle. Nope, we're still going. Easy decisions. Okay. Here's where it gets a little weird. So we pushed up. We're tapping on right on the bottom of this move here, and then we made an I would say this is an engulfing candle. It's like equal bodies. There's, what is this? There's like a star or something, like in regular price action patterns. Because it's tapping on that missing price, and I think that's also 5 minute missing price, I'm going to enter this trade hesitantly. I want to, you know what? No, yeah, I'm gonna enter. I would probably do this. I'll give it a little bit of buffer just in case it wicks up, because what I'm thinking is that since this is that huge supply zone, I'm thinking that because we filled in the missing price, because we tapped on this area here, because we're tapping on the higher time frame supply zone, and we're getting these types of candles in here, like this bearish engulfing here, I think that this is the catalyst to set us off back to the downtrend. And I could be completely wrong, so I gave us a little buffer. Normally I'd probably do like a 5 pip here, but I'm gonna do a 7 because this has been a huge like swing anyways. Okay, Oh, don't do that. I don't like that it bounced here. Let's bring our old stop loss back up to break even. Okay. I like it. There we go. Okay, nice little +3 here. Man, I don't know why I messed up today. I'm doing pretty good. Jeez, this is a pretty good backtesting session. What the heck? I don't know how. So maybe I should just focus on one pair in live trading. I could tell you how. You know, I passed the first phase of my Forex funds, and then I started phase 2 on my 50K, and like my psychology, y'all. Like I always, the first day on a trading account is always the worst day. I should like give myself like a time limit. Anyways, let's keep going. We're on 8:59. Let's go 15-minute. Okay, now that that's out of the way, we've tapped into this, but let's mark this off here, because this is our new 15-minute supply zone. And what I could do is go to the 5-minute, and we'll even give we'll give this guy a name. We'll call him Yellow Box. And what he's gonna do is he's gonna tell us when price wants to retap into it and give us another sell. Oh, I forgot to check liquidity points. So with the way this is moving, I think this is gonna get run. At least this, but I think this is gonna get run. We've tapped into everything all the way up here. I don't see us like not running this, but I don't know. I don't think I traded Aussie US today. I just went on US 30. Let's see. Okay, so now we're tapping back into Yellow Box. There's a lot of Venn diagrams going on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna fib this so we know that anywhere above this area is anywhere above the 50 is like a good price, basically. Okay, not an engulfing. Normally I'd want to re-enter somewhere around here, but it's not an engulfing. Okay, I like that this made a wick up here. I still don't want to enter yet. I like that this didn't break the highs, and I think my bias is still to the south. We're in our higher time frame area of demand, so I'm actually going to enter with stop loss just above, understanding that if it comes back up here, it's probably just going to go up to here. So let's see what happens. Okay, we didn't break the low. I don't like that. We're choppy. I don't like it still. Okay. I should have break even and got out of this. Okay, so I don't like this trade anymore. I would have liked this high to be lower than this high. I would have liked this low to possibly come down lower, but let's see. I think this might be my last chance to break even if I want to. Okay, if this high breaks here before this low breaks, then I'm out. Okay, we're good. I'm staying in the trade. The reason for that is because if this high, it's in the way. Let me move this over. So if this high broke before this low broke, then that means that the trade, that this move here would have meant that it would have bounced from this area. But since we didn't break this high first and we cleared this, that means that because I hope this is not confusing for anyone that's watching, because this high was higher than this high and this low broke the low here, like this low broke here, that gives me confidence to stay in the trade. So this one here was our first sign because it couldn't break this high, right? And then when we didn't get a bullish engulfing above this high when that was created, that tells me that or basically not bullish engulfing, but like because this high didn't break before this low broke, that tells me that we still had some bearish momentum in the market. God, I hope that wasn't confusing, but it probably was. Okay, so we ran these lows. If we get to the 15-minute, I'll check liquidity points. So this was the liquidity point on the 15-minute, so we just want to be wary of that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually move my yellow box down to this area of demand and see what happens. Okay, this is kind of weird still. Let's move this over. Okay. Okay, we got our 1 to 3. This is such a weird session. Though I struggle to see why I messed my account up today. I'm doing pretty well. We're almost at 11. We usually go 4:15 or 4:30ish to 11. Yeah, if we can find one more trade, we will. Otherwise, I'm just going to click through and see what's going on. I'll wait, get to the next bar here, and then I'll check the 15-minute. Okay, so we're coming back down to our area of demand here. So yeah, I mean, if we get a trade in there, I'll take it. If not, then it's fine. Okay, so this didn't break the high here, but it also didn't make an engulfing candle, so I wouldn't enter that. Okay, I don't know if I need to enter trade. We're kind of pushing up a little bit, but it's difficult to say. I'm not sure if I mean, I could enter a trade here, but if I did, I'd probably most likely enter a sell. But I'm not going to. I think I'm going to cut it here. I just want to see where it goes. I think it's going to come back down to here still. Let's see. Okay, does it come down? Okay, it does come down. So I would have got that trade. That's awesome. But yeah, okay. So anyways, we actually had a really good session on this. I don't know. Maybe like I didn't trade AU today, but maybe the price action from US 30 kind of transferred into my brain and was like, yo, you did good. You did good. You know, you know everything. But this is awesome. Yeah, so we got, what is this? Let's see, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12, 12.74 R or percent or whatever. Very nice. May 6th, AU.